Honey, did you tell them to like and subscribe to the channel?
Yes, Mom. I told him to like and subscribe to the channel.
Did you tell them to turn on post notifications and leave a comment after the video?
You guys heard my mom. Turn on post notifications and leave a comment after the video. Go.
Video is made by Alpha Gaming, which is Harris Heller.
You need to be an optimist. No ass.
It's like a no.
So the video's by Harris Heller. It's called How Much Money Do Twitch Streamers Make and How You Can Do It Too. Do this.
known cardinal sin for creators to actually show how much they make, but I would actually really like to make a video on exactly how much I make, but that's a really scary video to make. So if you'd like to see me do
It makes like 10
anyway,
grand a month off just Twitch.
all right, I guess we're doing this. Ever since the drop of Stream Beats last week, copyright-free lo-fi beats for streamers, by the way, available on almost every single streaming service, link in the description below. But ever since that launched, I've gotten a lot of questions from you guys about monetization and running your stream like a business. And I've been more open about
How much you want to bet he's going to start off by the first way you make money is through a brand deal, or like a branded video, which this is going to be. And I bet you it's going to be an Ownz.TV ad.
my personal income than most people have recommended I be. So I've decided to take a step back and take the more responsible approach and just literally tell you everything.
Streambeats is great. I definitely think that when I do more of my vloggy stuff, I think he's the move to do. I've listened to it. It's really good. The playlist is good. You're not going to risk later on the whoever puts up like a free non-copyright song end up actually making it copyright just so they can make all the money of all the videos that used it. I've seen in the past a lot of companies, not companies, but a lot of like creators have been doing that. They start off by making their music non-copyright, and once they see how many creators are using it, then they'll move it to copyright. And I don't know. I think that's a shitty way to go about it. But if he stays true and keeps everything non-copyright, I think that his playlist is probably gonna be the most used.
Wish me luck. In this video, I will tell you literally exactly how much I make, where that money comes from, and why I believe I tend to make more money than most people my size on Twitch. And hopefully I don't lose any of you guys in the process. Why is that, by the way? Honestly, why do you think people get upset when they find out how much money content creators make? Be honest.
So that what he said there, right? I think the biggest reason why people stop either supporting or all that, they feel like you've made it. I've seen a lot of my friends, especially when I was on Mixer, where when they would do streamathons that were really good, the next couple days people would like come by and like the people that were regularly dropping like embers here and there, that let's say they didn't donate during the subathon, they straight up say you're good or you've made enough. And it's like crazy to think that like you can put a dollar valuation on somebody.
Yeah, I'd actually really like to hear your opinion. My theory on this is that YouTubers, content creators are just in general more relatable than like TV personalities. And when you find out that a YouTuber makes a good chunk of money, I think it kind of ruins that relatability a little bit. Just a theory. I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
I can see that.
Before we start this video on monetization, I'd like to monetize it with saying thank you to our sponsor, Ownz.TV.
Called it.
Is your
Called
one-stop
it.
shop for all your stream aesthetic needs, from overlays to panels to
Yeah.
alerts. Really just all the things. Plus, all the overlays are modular, so if you and all your friends pick up the same overlay called Good Vibes that you're looking at right now, none of you are going to have the exact same looking stream because you can pick different camera borders, different elements to fit your stream needs and make
He always says that, but I'm like, what if I want to pick the same exact thing my friend did?
it look the way you want. So if you'd like to make a smart move like many from the community have done, feel free to jump over to Ownz.TV and pick something up. Make sure you use the link in the description below. That will support the channel. Also, if you want 40% off, make sure you use code ALPHA at checkout. And also, one more reminder, I do stream every Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. So if during this video you have questions maybe I didn't answer, feel free to jump in there and let's talk. There are 3 different levels of monetization that any streamer can go through. We'll call them tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3, just for simplicity. Understanding these 3 tiers and how they work, especially understanding the top tier, gives you a little bit of a sense of like a path to walk. It really helps you understand how creators can turn their tiny little channel into a staple in the industry, like for example, Rooster Teeth. And while YouTubers have been accomplishing this for years, streaming is still relatively new enough that very few streamers understand
Isn't Rooster Teeth a massive company at this point though?
what can be accomplished or that this is even possible. I'd say really the only streamer that is like fully broken into tier 3 is probably Ninja. Seriously, that's it. But
I think Shroud broke into tier 3 with how big his deals have been, and I think Doc's in tier 3 as well.
let's start with tier 1. Tier 1 monetization is where all the income, all the revenues are self-contained to the streaming platform itself. By the way, we're gonna use Twitch as an example here, but just know this applies to any streaming platform. All the money you make in tier 1 comes from being live or income that happens while you're live. You've got people giving you money with subs, bits, and donations. You've got some merchandise that people can buy. We can even consider Patreon and OnlyFans in this group. Slightly different kind of merch, but still merchandise, none the same. And then lastly, sponsorships on your stream. These three ways are the way 99% of streamers make 100% of their revenue. And it's crazy how much this income can vary, not only from streamer to streamer, but from month to month. There was one month when Ninja had like 600,000 subscribers. That was when
I think 250 was the most. He had 600,000 viewers. I think you should fact check that.
that month that he streamed with Drake. Keep in mind, subscriptions are $5 a month, and that number is split between the streamer and Twitch. You guys know most of this. Given how many subs Ninja had that month, and you know, attaching bits and donations to it, I mean, he probably made over 2, maybe 3 million that month just on this form alone. Sticking in tier 1 of monetization is incredibly volatile, and it makes you afraid to leave home and not stream. I know big streamers who intentionally missed TwitchCon last year because they were afraid to stop streaming and lose that revenue.
I think too many people rely, like most of their revenue ends up coming from this tier that he's talking about, and it really messes them up because that should only be about a 30% of what you make, and I'm sure the other two tiers is what it should be. In my opinion, I think it's crazy, but he's right. You know, I had friends that when we would go to cons that would specifically stay home, that when they would stay home, like they'd be like, oh my God, this is my chance to make money. And people at the cons would freak out because they're not making any money. You know, they spent money to go to this con, and while they're there, they're not getting the subs, they're not getting the bits, embers, donos, they're not getting whatever ad deal, like paid stream they could have done. And it's crazy because it's like so many people rely solely on that, and they don't go to what I think he's going to say is the next two tiers.
These streamers, even though they're large streamers, are still monetizing in a tier 1 sense. A well enough known like full-time streamer who maybe has like between 500 and 1,000 average viewers will usually have between maybe 1,000 and 2,000 subscribers. Usually the money within tier 1 here is like 60 to 80% subs. So if we do some quick maths, we're talking about maybe $5,000 a month for a full-time, well-known streamer. And the reason that in tier 1 merch and sponsorships don't do very well is because one, most streamers in this area only have self-branded merch where it's just like their logo on a shirt, and only like the hardcore true fans who want to like wear someone's face on their chest are gonna buy it. And sponsorships on Twitch alone, they just don't pay out that much. You don't have quite the impact with an ad on Twitch that you can have on YouTube. And this is because you're streaming for 8 hours on end. What are you gonna do? Push something every 30 minutes? And even then, a lot of people miss the ad. Whereas on YouTube, like every single person who's gotten here so far saw the ad for stream designs. You just have a much more targeted approach to ads on YouTube than you do on Twitch. Anyway, let's move on to tier 2 here. I feel like I spent way too much time on tier 1.
If I would have had this when I was maybe 20, I probably...
Tier 2 is when
I definitely agree that 60K is decent money when you're talking about solely coming from your platform. But I also think that he underrates how much revenue is generated from sponsorship deals in terms of like affiliation and like partnerships, and how much you actually use that to grow your brand. Like me personally, most of my money will come from the deals that I have right now, you know, my partnership deals. And it's crazy because I'm not a big well-known streamer at all. I'm not, and I probably can't even use what he's going to name in tier 2 and 3 realistically yet because of the size of my stream.
streamers branch out to other avenues of monetization on the internet. I'd say the most common one of these is when big streamers like Shroud or Choco Taco hire an editor who takes their streams, finds the best highlighted maybe 10 to 20 minutes.
I'm gonna throw in an ad here myself. Sam's wearing the Steel Series Arctic Pro Wireless. You guys should get yourself a pair using code Ownz12 at checkout.
Of it
And that is my Smooth. That is correct, even though Smooth is 5 times better looking.
uploads it to YouTube with a thumbnail. These are hit and miss. I've seen medium-sized streamers who can't get more than 300 views a video, whereas you get people like Shroud who within a day every single video gets 500,000 views, and that is a ton of monetization. Diversifying your content like this to multiple platforms does a couple things for you. One, it just diversifies your income. Let's say one month you get a much smaller amount of subs. It happens sometimes. That generally doesn't have any impact on the amount of people that watch your YouTube videos, and your ad revenue will stay exactly the same. So one of your revenues dips, maybe you have 3 or 4 set up on other platforms and you're still making pretty much the same amount.
Yep.
The other thing that this does though is it opens up doors for better sponsorships. If you have audience on multiple different platforms with different styles of content, sponsors are going to be able to get much more targeted. They're going to say, we want to hit the YouTube audience, we want to hit the TikTok audience. Essentially, the ad will have a much larger influence on the audience, and your revenue will change from in tier 1 maybe being a couple $100 for putting a logo on your stream to, you know, $10,000 to $20,000 for a YouTube ad. An example of someone who takes tier 2 to the next level is a streamer like Wacky Jackie, who, by the way, not only just streams super regularly, but also uploads nearly daily content. And this isn't just content ripped from his Twitch channel and edited for YouTube. I'm talking original YouTube content. Doing this not only provides you a large amount of extra income, but it also it adds to your credibility on Twitch, which is why Wacky Jackie streams for like over 1,000 people. If you're going to be in tier 2, I recommend you be like Wacky. But let's talk about tier 3.
I think the one thing that he misses to put there is just consistency in general. I know that he's saying putting out original content, but it's all about also branding your content. You know, you see someone like Tfue where it's like, when you go on his channel, you see a lot of his like vlog stuff, and his vlog stuff get insane amount of views, right? Where you might see a completely different sponsor want to do something on his vlogs as compared to what he'll do for his gaming stuff, since that's 2 completely different avenues. So it's all about, you know, sticking to like what kind of content you make, and you might make different types of content on different types of platforms. For example, Harris only makes this streaming stuff, this like, you know, like stuff about being guides for streaming, but when he's playing, he actually plays video games. Like when I watched him stream the other day, he was playing Apex. So it just goes to show, like, you know, you gotta stay consistent with what kind of content you want to put out on these platforms, and it doesn't have to be what you stream if you don't want it to be that.
Because this is where things get a little bit tricky, and this is where things get a little more fun. This is where streamers outgrow simple content creation and start to turn it into an actual business. For example, I mentioned Rooster Teeth earlier, who took the success of Red vs. Blue, which, by the way, I'm aware predates YouTube, but took the success of that single series and built an entire entertainment empire off of it. Multiple channels, production companies, whole teams doing just a bajillion things. Nadeshot's another great example, a professional gamer slash really popular YouTuber who, instead of just continuing to make YouTube videos, has built an entire gaming org, 100 Thieves, and is, I mean, you've seen where he's gone with it. Let's do the fun stuff now, and let's see where I fit in all this. And just an important preface, by the way, the reason I'm sharing this private info about my income is because last week I did a video
That's the plan.
on multiple ways that streamers could monetize properly like a business rather than just begging their viewers for money, and felt like if I really wanted to put my money where my mouth is and actually be of real help to you guys, even if it meant adding a little bit of risk to myself, sharing this kind of info with you guys could actually do a lot of good. At least I hope that's the case. We'll see. So let's start with my tier 1. I stream 3 days a week. I average 400 to 500 viewers right now, and at this moment I have 2,557 subs.
He makes
This
like
number
10 grand.
is especially high for the amount of viewers I have on average. I've even had phone calls with Twitch where they've asked why that number is so high. I attribute it to this YouTube channel where my viewers feel like I provide them a lot of value for free, and in turn
they
that
come
makes
and
them
sub
want
to you.
come to the
Yep.
Twitch channel and subscribe to return the favor. It's always been kind of a fun business.
One strategy I know that he used to do, I don't know if he still does it, was he would go live for an hour on his YouTube channel and answer all Q&A questions about the last like 1, 2, 3 videos he put out. And then he'd be like, all right, we're going to go play video games on Twitch. I don't know if he still does that, but I know for a fact he definitely got an insane amount of subs for doing that.
Tug of war kind of thing for me where, and maybe this is the pride in me speaking, but in order for me to not feel like I'm just a complete freeloader from this sub money, I do everything I can to make sure I'm providing more value for you than what I receive on Twitch. Does that make sense? For example, in the past 30 days, I have made $10,500.
Yep, I need to make
And so the question I have to ask myself is, am I providing at least $11,000 of value to my audience? And if the answer is no, then I've got work to do and I need to add something to it. And that's my tier 1 income. And that fluctuates on a normal month from, I mean, $8,000 to, I think I've hit like $12,000 one month. I don't have any merch set up yet, but I will have a Stream Elements merch store coming soon. And I don't actually have any sponsors on my Twitch channel. All right, my tier 2 stuff. This is where things start to get fun. Let's talk about outer sources of revenue.
This is going to be the most interesting because obviously all of his YouTube videos are branded. I also think that the ad revenue probably does so well. And the fact that his Amazon blacksmith is all of the stuff that he tries selling. And I'll be honest, I bought a lot of my stuff through his Amazon blacksmith that he recommended to me outside of the stuff that I bought through my own store. But I'm very interested to see what his breakdown is from his YouTube channel because ad revenue is probably insane. He's got these branded deals in each one, and I want to know how much he makes on his Amazon blacksmith.
Outside of Twitch and how much I make off those. Because $10,000 a month is an incredible number. I could live incredibly comfortably on 10K a month. But I have had months where I've been out of town for a lot of it, say for example, the holidays, and that number has dropped down to half of that, which is why I've set these up so that Twitch is actually less than half of my monthly revenue.
I did meet him at PAX West at the Facebook party. We did take a picture together. We chatted a little bit, nothing too crazy. But he didn't like stay too long and he wasn't really in the mood to party, and you can tell the dude was sleep deprived, so I didn't really bother him, but he was a super nice guy in person. Like he has a very similar personality IRL as he does streaming.
So let's talk about YouTube. In the last 4 weeks, the YouTube channel has reached 1.1 million views and has generated $4,500 in ad revenue. And while yes, that's only half of what my Twitch channel makes, my YouTube channel is incredibly marketable and sponsorships are worth quite a lot. And I would say that's because of a combination of 2 things. One, you guys come to this channel for advice, not just entertainment, which means if I say, hey, I really like this product, you're more likely to actually go out and buy it. Which brings me to number 2, I'm incredibly picky with the companies that I do sponsorships with. I've never given a biased review just because someone paid me for it. I turn down a lot of well-paying but iffy sponsorships because that trust between me and you is incredibly valuable. And while I can't talk specifically about how much any individual sponsorship has made me, I can say on a normal month, I will probably make about $5,000 in sponsorship revenue. On a good month, where maybe I have a couple of them lined up, it can get up to $20,000. Also of importance, I focus on 3 main social media platforms right now: Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. Often what I'll do is I will bundle those together to again increase the value of a sponsorship. Whether that means adding a tweet to a sponsorship because my Twitter engagement is very high, or a lot of advertisers also know that if I post a video on something, I will often talk about it a lot in the next couple streams, and mentioning that also increases the rate in general. Another big revenue maker for me is Amazon Associates links. So if I ever do a video review on a product, or I talk about a build or anything where I have links to the products down below, they are Amazon affiliate links. Sorry, Amazon associate links. I don't like that they call it associates. I have to think about it every time I say it. But depending on what the product is that you purchase, I can make anywhere from 2% on a product to even up to 10% on whatever you buy. I've also created bundles on a website called kit.co. Those are also linked in the description down below. There's a beginning streamer bundle, an advanced streamer bundle, and then my personal streaming rig bundle. I think just about any device in these kits are Amazon links, and I am pretty sure that I have like one of the most viewed kit accounts. Every single one of these bundles has over 500,000 views. One of them is like reaching 1 million, I think. I haven't looked at it in a while, but I will make anywhere from $4,500 to $6,000 a month on these Amazon links. Great, that's the majority of it so far. Let's get into tier 3 stuff. The thing with tier 3,
that's crazy. Tier 3 for him, I think, is when he goes to events being paid by orgs, I'm assuming.
that makes it different than 1 and 2. You can start at tier 2 if you want. It's a lot of work. That's what I did. I started on both YouTube and Twitch at the same time, and it's honestly what I attribute my incredibly fast Twitch growth to. But tier 3 as a content creator often doesn't work until you have the validity of success. 100 Thieves would have just been another tiny org that you see all over the place if Nadeshot hadn't put in the time and become a very successful content creator.
Yep.
And Rooster Teeth would be absolutely nothing without Red versus Blue. But a mistake that a lot of people make when they try to transition into tier 3, the business ownership world, is they leave behind tier 1 and tier 2. They think that it's tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, like stepping stones, you move from one to the next, when in reality, it's tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Each one expands upon the prior tiers and it still encompasses it. I mean, Red versus Blue, as far as I know, is still going in its like 17th season, and Nadeshot is still making just as much content as ever. And being real, if he stopped one day, 100 Thieves would suffer. Now, I'm not quite at a place where I can do something of the scale of 100 Thieves. Keep in mind, Nadeshot had like 2 to 3 million subscribers when he started that. I still have quite a ways to grow. However, my content on this YouTube channel has been all about explaining to you guys streaming solutions, whether it's PC parts, social media strategies, whatever. And so I decided to release a solution of my own that I felt was incredibly important and missing in the market. And last week, I released StreamBeats. I saw a very serious need for easy and free music that streamers could play on their stream without having any fear of copyright strikes. So I found a producer. We made 180 tracks. 120 of them are live right now, with 60 more coming out the next week or two. They are on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, literally everywhere. Links in the description down below. And I'm even currently working on talking with Twitch and Facebook, all these companies, making sure that if you use them, your VODs won't even get muted. That, however, is incredibly time consuming. Not quite there yet. And from a business standpoint, it's been incredible. You guys get free, easy, copyright-free music on a streaming service that you're already paying for. And while you're using it in the background of your streams, I'm making streaming royalties. And while I won't get the exact numbers of how much I'll make off this for like, I think a couple months, we can use the information on the internet to make some estimates. So today, StreamBeats got about 150,000 plays across all platforms. If you kind of average out what all the different platforms pay per play, while putting a little bit more emphasis on Spotify, because 70% of my audience is on Spotify, I will make about a half of a penny per play, which would make me about $750 a day. And if you multiply that by 30, that makes about $22,500 a month. And that's assuming that the numbers stay relatively the same. The numbers have been growing substantially every day, so it could be way more than that. You guys could just decide tomorrow you all hate it, and it could be way less than that, which means that adding everything up, the lowest I generally make in a month is like 44,000, and the highest I can make is up to like 65,000 right now. And yeah, there goes all my Twitch subs. That was fun. I genuinely hope this is of some value to you and this helps you out, because if not, I'm gonna look like one of those guys in those YouTube ads who's like, I made $2 million in passive income this last year. Order my book and find out how I did it. I don't want to be that guy. I'm not trying to be that guy. But if you guys do have more questions about this, again, feel free to jump into my chat. We can talk about it. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, link in the description down below. Or if you want to brainstorm more ways to make revenue, there are over 40,000 people in our Discord, all trying to turn streaming into a career. Jump in there, brainstorm with some people, make some friends. Link to that in the description below as well.
Wow.
And guys, as always, happy streaming. Please don't unsubscribe.
That's yeah, I mean, I thought it was probably in the 20K range, but obviously it's a lot higher now with the fact that he's doing StreamBeats. I definitely think that he's gonna do very well, and I think that it's gonna be a huge monetization for him down the road. And it's also something that I believe that it's gonna be marketed for him for free. That is the one big thing that I feel like I've always been trying to tell people when it comes to, you know, starting a business in this space, especially if you want to use streamers as affiliates or stuff like that. You want to get free marketing, but you also want to give them like a little piece of the cake with stuff like that. Like, for example, I think a lot of companies are missing out on the fact that you can literally get someone to work harder if they know they can get a little piece of the cake, right? Like, in my opinion, if Streamlabs was to offer someone like me, right, and they said, we'll split the revenue if you get, you know, streamers to sign up for the Prime, like every month you'd get a residual on it, it would make me want to market the product more, as compared to my friend going, hey, I need merch. I go, hey, use my link buy, get yourself, the Streamlabs Prime so you guys can get, merch made for free. But those are things that I think that brands really need to focus on and work on, in my opinion. Like,